Good evening, everyone. We do not have a quorum just yet, so we are waiting. It's 7:33. At 7:45, if we don't have a quorum, we will not be able to hold this regular board meeting. Mr. Clerk, have you heard from any of the trustees?
Other than those present, Mayor, I have not.
Okay, thank you.
One of these?
Okay.
Do they have any responsible documents?
Oh, you still working?
Right.
Good evening. How you doing?
If you want, you can even take the first step and ask them if they want to be in school.
I'll give you a few minutes to get your.
I'll do them simultaneously and see when I get back, and then I'll. Okay. And then I'll follow up with you. Okay. Thank you. Good. Good. Thank you.
Okay.
You guys are having way too much fun at the board meetings.
Hello, Trustee Chamalave. We're just waiting for Trustee Armour to get ready, and then we'll start the regular board meeting. So if you want to put your phone on mute until the clerk start calling the roll call and all the other formalities, then we'll be ready to go.
Okay.
Okay.
Trustee, hold your mic to you. Hold your mic to you. You're talking right into it.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to call our regular board meeting to order at 7:37. We're located in the Village Chambers, 2350 South 25th Avenue. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham. Here. Trustee Chamalave. Here. Trustee Senior. Here. Mayor Thompson.
Here.
Trustee Shelby is absent. Trustee Armour. Here. Trustee Miller is absent. Madam President, we do have a quorum. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Mr. Clerk, before we go on to the Pledge of Civility, can we do a moment of silence in honor of the Honorable Karen Yarbrough, Clerk Karen Yarbrough?
Yes, Madam President. Can we all please now have a moment of silence in honor of the late Clerk Karen Yarbrough?
Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay, next we'll read the Pledge of Civility. In the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we each may have different ideas for achieving that objective. Now we'll have, before we go on to public comment, I need a motion to approve the electronic participation of the meeting for Trustee Chamalave, who's out due to illness. It's been properly motioned by Trustee Armour, seconded by Trustee Senior, to allow Trustee Chamalave to participate electronically. I'll take a quick roll call. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby is absent. Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller is absent, and this carries 4-0. Thank you. Next, item 2, public comment. Madam President, I believe you have public comments.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Linda Schuler, Housing Forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Linda Schuler. I'm the CEO at Housing Forward, and with me this evening is Patricia Stokes. She's our Senior Director of Supportive Housing, and we are going to be opening up a brand new facility, our new permanent supportive housing program. I know there's a proclamation on the agenda for this evening, but wanted to be here to really bring a little closure to this 3-year process of developing at 1020 West Roosevelt Road our very first permanent supportive housing project-based development. We've been in existence for 31 years and are just thrilled to be establishing formal roots in Broadview, which has been part of our service area for as many years. The need for this type of development is greatly needed. We have roughly 260 of scattered site permanent supportive housing units throughout our service area, which is about 25 communities. Again, this is our first development where we will have 16 units serving 4 families and 12 single adults and or couples. So we're really proud of our partnership with the village and making the process as smooth as possible for us. We know we had some hiccups in the beginning with a change in our general contractor, but absolutely thrilled for our ribbon cutting, which everyone is invited to next Thursday, April 25th, 10:30 to 12:30. Mayor Thompson will be there with some opening remarks, and then we'll have an open house for the entire community that evening from 5:30 to 7:30. We'll be giving tours and answering questions and what have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next for public comments is Grassroots Community Collaboration, Ms. Sue Henry and Ms. Maisha Owens.
Good evening, Mayor and
Good
Board.
evening.
Good evening.
You already said my name, so I don't have to introduce myself. But we are here representing the Grassroots Community Collaboration Group.
Ms.
And
Henry, can you pull the mic down, because we need, okay, thank you.
I could have tiptoed up to it. Okay. We want to express our sincere appreciation for your invaluable support and active participation in our endeavors to enhance the significance of Black History Month in our community. The February 1 ceremony that marked the beginning of Black History Month 2024 was a big success, and the positive feedback we received from residents was overwhelming. Not only did those present shower us with rave reviews, but also those who learned about the event at a later time were full of high praise for the concept. We are confident that next year's event will be even more impressive and impactful. We are especially grateful for your assignment of a liaison from your administration, Mayor, to work with us. We are pleased to work with Sobita Sierra Lily and eagerly anticipate strengthening our relationship and continuing our collaborative work with you both to achieve our shared goals. Thank you again. And we have a small token of our appreciation. I don't see Lily here, so I don't know. Oh, you want me to
Give it to the man.
Well, thank you. This is for you. Yep, I'll make sure she gets it. Okay.
That was nice.
Thank you. So I will say this was a collaborative initiative from Grassroots Community Collaboration, and it was a collaboration during Black History Month with Bellwood, Maywood, and Broadview. We all raised the Pan-African flag at the same time, and it was actually a really nice day in February that took place. So when we talk about collaboration and showcasing diversity and showcasing the African American community, this is the work that we should have been doing a very long time ago. So I just want to say thank you to the board of Grassroots and the works and the effort, and we look forward to next year. I know it's going to be bigger and better, so thank you. And thank you for the acknowledgement. I'll make sure that Lily gets it. You're welcome. Mr. Clerk?
All right, thank you, Madam President. Next is item 3, communications. I have a couple. As just mentioned in our public comments, join us for an open house Thursday, April 25th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at 1020 Roosevelt Road in Broadview. This is the Housing Forward open house. It's a community open house at the new Permanent Supportive Housing Building in Broadview. For more information and to RSVP, please email lfoster@housingforward.org. Next, Green Landscape Technology Listening Session. This will happen Wednesday, May 1st, 2024, from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7:30. Location at the Eisenhower Community Center, 700 Speechley Boulevard in Hillside, Illinois. The communities involved will be the villages of Bellwood, Broadview, and Maywood. Next, please join the Village of Broadview Dream Center and Tools of Knowledge, NFP, as they sponsor the Fund Drive fundraiser. The collection date is May 4th, 2024, Saturday, at Broadview Village Hall parking lot, 2350 South 25th Avenue, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Clean out your closets and basement and donate your gently used clothing and small household textile. The proceeds will go towards sponsoring the seniors tent at the Broadview Juneteenth celebration. Next, May 4th, 2024, Waste Solutions, Inc., SBC, Broadview Spring Cleaning. This will happen, I don't have a time, but I'm assuming that we're going to be putting stuff out as we usually do annually. Some of the items that you can include and non-acceptable items. Let me just mention the non-acceptable items first. Paint and paint thinner is not accepted. Ammunition, bricks, concrete blocks, cement, or asphalt pavement. Hazardous or medical waste, car batteries, explosives, tires, construction material, and landscape timber. So I would assume just about anything else that we normally put out is acceptable. For more information, you can contact sbcwastesolutions.com/Broadview. Next, Drive-by Community Shred Day. Again, Saturday, May 4th, 9 a.m. to noon, right here at Village Hall, 2350 South 25th Avenue. This again is through SBC Waste Solutions. This is sponsored by Mayor Katrina Thompson and SBC Waste Solutions. For more information, please call 708-681-3600. And lastly, join us for the Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics, Illinois. Saturday, June 8th, 2024, at 8 a.m. We're going to gather in Forest Park, and at 8:30 a.m. the run begins. Members of law enforcement and family runners only. Join us to cheer on our runners. And that concludes communications for today. Next, we have item 4, consideration to approve the following minutes. Minutes from the March 18th, 2024 regular board meeting. I'm going to ask that those be tabled. Motion to table.
Second.
It's been properly motioned to table these minutes by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Abraham, and the reason being I simply ran out of time to complete these minutes on Friday due to an impromptu meeting that I had to step into, so these will be prepared and ready for the next board meeting. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, and this is approved to be tabled until the next board meeting. And I just want to note for the record that trustee Miller has arrived to the meeting. We're going to say 7:45 p.m. All right, next item, minutes from the April 1st, 2024 regular board meeting to be approved.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Abraham. Madam President, open for discussion.
Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
None.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Malave?
No question.
Trustee Armour?
No question.
Trustee Miller? No. All in favor say aye.
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 Here, let me do a roll call on that one, if you don't mind, Madam
No,
President.
go ahead.
All right, trustee Abraham,
Yes.
trustee Malave,
Yes.
trustee Senior,
Yes.
trustee Shelby is absent, trustee Armour,
Yes.
trustee
Yes.
Miller,
Abstain.
and this carries 4-0 with one abstention, Madam President. Thank you all. Next, item 5, consideration to approve expenditures, grand total of all funds, $364,766.75 for the period ending 4/10/2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Abraham, seconded by trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. In the absence of the Finance Chair, Trustee Shelby, Trustee Abraham, who sits on the Finance Committee, will you please read the warrant list?
Yes, Madam Mayor. This is the AP warrant list for 4/10/24. Our first vendor is 911 Tech Incorporated in the amount of $2,782. American Trademark Company, $2,810. AT&T, $3,937.54. B&F Construction Code Services, $10,841.25. Big Tent Events Incorporated, $8,739.14. Builders Paving LLC, $73,537.89. Cargill Incorporated, $43,805.07. College of DuPage, $14,088. Delgado Law Group LLC, $11,797.50. ESO Solutions Incorporated, $4,822.86. Fire Service Incorporated, $13,388.54. Flock Group Incorporated, $8,663.01. Geno's Heating and Plumbing Incorporated, $40,407.45. Joseph L. Pancetto for $4,290. Juan Andres and Dolores Guzman, $3,695.34. Lexi Pole LLC, $9,672.15. Midwest 911 Incorporated, $16,779.08. Montana and Welch LLC, $5,996.25. I apologize if I mispronounced this name. Pashpati Nat at $8,240. Rush Truck Center, Chicago, $4,861.45. South Central Capital Group, LLC, $3,750. Tesca Associates Incorporated, $2,585. The Above Average School, $4,200. The Fire Officer Trust, $3,000. Tier Point LLC, $2,511.31. Train US Incorporated for $7,460. West Cook County Solid Waste Agency, $10,476.54. Our total expenditures over 2,500 is $327,137.37. Our total expenditures are $364,766.75. Our percent of total is 90%. We did have one manual payment check. For the vendor was Chris Brown. The date was for April 2nd, 2024. The check number was 86075 in the amount of $200. For the funds that will be affected, the general fund in the amount of $232,745.39. Garbage fund, $10,476.54. Motor fuel tax fund in the amount of $1,578.14. Our Roosevelt Road TIF fund, $1,072.50. The 17th Avenue TIF North, $536.25. Our 19th Street TIF, $341.25. Our Capital Projects Fund, $73,537.89. Our Water and Sewage Fund in the amount of $44,478.79. Our grand total is $364,766.75. And I did, do I need to repeat the manual check again?
You
It's
don't
already
have to.
been
It's up
entered.
to you.
Okay, that's it. End of the report.
Thank you, Trustee Abraham. Do you have any questions or comments about the payables?
None.
Trustee Senior? Trustee Chalmalave?
No question.
Trustee Armour?
I have a couple of questions. I'm not sure if I should direct my questions to the Director, Tom Hood. On the general ledger aspects of the report, just like these are disbursements, right? That's in the distribution area from the general fund. These are payments, right? Okay, so just like we listed for capital projects, the $73,537.39. Just like we didn't really list the payee, but it was part of the warrant list. So my question is, who are the payees for Roosevelt Road TIF Fund? Who are for the $1,072.50? Who's the payee, or who are the payees for the North TIF, the TIF for North? And then who are or is the payee for the 19th Street TIF? And I figured out the capital projects one. And then also, so that's one question for those items. And then, and why is not this payment, the Water and Sewage Fund for $44,478.79, why isn't that payment on the warrant list? So it's two questions.
So let me answer the question, Mr. Hood. So Trustee Armour, the payable's been ready for the last week, and you have not came. So all of the supporting documents is part of the warrant list that goes out to the trustees, which the backup supporting documentation. When you look at the water fund, the reason why it's not on the warrant list because it's several different payments that's under the water fund. So it's not a big payment of $44,000. It's multiple things that's under that.
I would like to know who the payees are.
The inside, so if you want to, so after the meeting, if you want to go through and review it, that's in there. But this is the warrant list, and this is a business meeting, and you had ample time to review it and get your questions answered prior to tonight's meeting.
So let me just ask, are you saying that the payees for all of the ones that I inquired about are in that list of payments?
Yes, they inside of this, so
How
the
will I be able to determine who's who?
because a couple of things, it's all itemized. So when you look at the warrant list, they got an item number to it. So if you look at the general fund, if it started with a 1, that's where the payment is. The warrant lists have not changed, and this is the way we've been doing it way before I even got here, to be quite frank. But the warrant list, we do it every week. You have an opportunity to come. You never come look at the bills. And so, again, this is a business meeting for us to move the business forward, and we do operate in a transparent matter as it relates to our fiscal responsibility. But for the particulars, if you would like the particulars, you have to go through the items that you want so that we can pull it, because we have a list, and we've been here. We don't know exactly what bill it is, but we can pull it out of this warrant list to give you the total amount of that fund balance. So if you want to pull out the fund, we can do that, but we don't have that documentation in front of us. So in respect of our time, we've been here all day, and you could have came earlier today to even get your question answered.
Well, we all have different lives.
Okay, so,
with
Mr.
all
Clerk,
due respect,
I would like to suspend the regular board meeting. Can I get a motion in a second? Yes.
So it's been properly motion by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Abraham to suspend this evening's regular board meeting at 7:50.
We're going to come back, but I want to go get something.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing no opposition, we hereby suspend it at 7:50.
I think what she's telling you is these codes apply to whichever.
yeah, these are
there-
fund
there's none on
codes.
there.
I understand how the fund code works, right? But it's inconsistent because if I'm able to find this payment on the warrant list, it should be listed, you know, the payees.
Okay, I would like to reconvene the regular board meeting, Mr. Clerk.
The ones that have 4
I need a motion in a second.
Motion to reconvene the meeting, the regular board meeting.
Second.
Properly motion by trustee Senior, seconded by trustee Abraham to reconvene the regular board meeting. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay.
Okay.
Opposition, we are hereby reconvened at 7:59 p.m. Madam President, the floor.
So these are all of the bills that's in this warrant list. That includes all of our funds, the ones that that's in question, the capital funds, the 17th Avenue TIF, the Roosevelt TIF, the general fund, the garbage fund, all of these bills is included in this warrant list. Trustee Armour fails to come review this and get her questions answered prior to the board meeting. So if you would like to take some time to go through these bills, and we can pull out which one that you have in questions to get to the fund balance, we're happy to do that. But why should we hold up a regular board meeting for you to go through the information that's here that you've had access to?
With all due respect, Mayor, I have come down to review the bills, and it's interesting how you said this is something that I should do, and I hear you, and I heard you.
Thank you.
But please understand that we all live different lives, and I didn't have time to come down here. But I have inquired about this a couple of times now.
Director
and I
Hood, have
haven't
she
been
inquired
able to
about the
get
warrant
an
list and the
answer to my
general
question.
funds? Have she sent you an email?
No, but the warrant list has those fund numbers on it, exactly.
I know what the fund numbers are, Tom, but what I'm asking is, like, for example, the Capital Projects Fund one for the $75,000. That's cited on the warrant list. But the other ones that I inquired about, the smaller amounts, they wouldn't be on the warrant list because they're not 2,500 or more. However, they, but are,
They are, and not in that nice cover sheet of bills over 2,500, but if you go to the detail.
the general ledger, the supporting documentation.
Yes, the actual warrant list pulled off the system, like, for example, you asked about 19th Street. That's going to be the account number that starts 19 dash, and that'll tell you the name right on that warrant list of who it's for. And then you can go to the pile and pull it out and look.
Okay,
That's all a part of the detail.
Yes, that's the details.
thank you, Tom, I appreciate it.
And the details are included in every board packet.
Okay, so my second question is, so why is not the payment, the $44,478, why is that not listed among the payments over 2,500?
Because that's multiple vendors that's under that distribution. So the capital projects, which is number 40. If you go to 40 and you go through this warrant list, it'll tell you what vendors are under that capital fund project. It's in the details. And if you come and review the bills, as you stated, you would know that you've been on the board almost 4 years.
Thank you, Mayor, for, saying that.
Well, nothing's
I really do
changed.
appreciate it, but
But nothing's changed.
Well, what I'm saying is that I tried that strategy or that way before, and it didn't work out. So this is why I'm proposing my questions in the public. That's it. That's all I've got.
And so I'm looking at it right now, number 40, the paving program is $73,537.89. That's builder's payment. If you look at the warrant list, builder's payment, $73,537.39. Thank you. Trustee Miller, you have any questions or comments?
My only comment is, I've said this a couple times before, so I haven't reviewed the warrant list fully because we didn't get it till Friday afternoon. I'm going to make this request again in order for us to have ample time to review. I don't know if this would help Trustee Armour or not, but to have ample time review, can we get these either on Wednesday night or Thursday night so that we're not imposing on people's weekend time to review documentation? If not, no big deal, but that's why I kind of am going to probably abstain from most of the stuff because I haven't reviewed it.
And I've also made that inquiry.
You don't
also.
have the floor, Trustee Armour.
I understand.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Miller, I'm sorry.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Is there something else you would like to add before we move on, Trustee Armour?
With this, that's
Okay,
it.
thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. This is to approve the bills. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby is absent. Trustee Armour?
Abstain.
Trustee Miller?
So I literally just looked at it, so I can approve it. I'll say yes on this one.
Thank you, Trustee Miller. And Madam President, this carries 4-0 with 1 abstention. Thank you all. Next item 6, application for the authority to expend funds totaling $1,165,788.93. And this is comprised of 3 separate POs, which we'll go through individually. I'm going to start with the first one, Ziegler, in the amount of $56,583.03 for the Public Works Department. I need a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Abraham, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about this PO?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome. The PO is for vehicle replacement. I believe I brought it before the board a few months ago. We were able to identify a replacement vehicle that was within our 23-24 budget. So.
That's it. Okay. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No questions.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Armour?
How much is it? What is the total of the PO?
$56,583.03 for Ziegler.
Thank you, Clerk.
I didn't get that. When I added the numbers up, I didn't get that. I got $56,641.03. That was a variance of $58.
In terms of what?
The total.
You're talking about the purchase order that was submitted along with it? Okay, so I'd imagine that it would be a Scribner's error, but what the bill of sale that's attached to the paperwork would be the true number.
Which is different from what I got when I totaled it up. I got $56,641.03.
Thank you. I don't have the bill of sale in front of me.
I don't know.
I got $56,548.35. And that includes the sale of the vehicle, which is $56,025. And the CVR was $35. The title was $165, and the document is $358. For a total of $56,548.35.
$48, did you say, Mayor?
$56,548.35.
Okay.
So the purchase of the vehicle is $56,025. When you add the CVR, the title, and the document, the grand total is $56,548.35. If someone want to correct my math. Yep, $56,583.
And 3 cents?
No, it's no 3 cents. It's just because. Yeah, the purchase order has 3 cents, so even on the bill of sale, the $358.03 is the document fee, so that's what's on the purchase order. What's missing is the 3 cents from the document. So it would be $56,583.03. So if you look at the purchase agreement, the purchase of the vehicle is $56,025. The CVR fee is $35, and the license and title is $165, for a grand total of $56,583.03. So the purchase order is in the correct amount. It's just on the PO, you didn't have the 3 cents on the document. So it's a 3 cent difference. Any other questions, Trustee Alman? Because the document is right. The only thing is on the purchase order, it's not the 3 cents. But if you look at the purchase of the agreement, the numbers are right.
So the vehicle's price is $56,025.
Yes, it's in your packet.
Okay. So everything should be consistent. It just throws me off, and I will definitely ask a question if it's an inconsistency
And that's
anywhere,
fair.
no matter how small. So, thank you.
That's fair.
Well, thank you for your oversight.
Yeah. That's fair.
I really do appreciate that.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'm done.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
So what's the amount we're approving?
$56,583.03.
Okay, so I think you guys are still missing what she's saying, because I saw it too. So on the first page of the PO, we have the unit price and then the total price are different. On the very first line.
That's correct.
Okay, so that goes back to what she's saying is there's a discrepancy, not in the 3 cent, in those two prices.
No, that's why I went to the retail purchase agreement, not the PO, because the purchase agreement is the accurate document.
But they
The
both
purchase-
But they both have the same bottom line amount, which
Exactly.
wouldn't be the
Right.
same, which would be an incorrect total somewhere.
Yes. But what they're saying on the purchase order at the total, it's got the $56,083.03. The purchase order's got the scribblers error, not the agreement.
Hold it.
Any other questions, Trustee Miller?
No.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
We sure can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham? Yes. Trustee Chalmalave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby is absent. Trustee Armour?
Come back to me, please.
Trustee Armour?
Can you make me last, please?
Trustee Armour?
Just a moment, please. So I am agreeing to, we're agreeing to $56,583.03, correct?
That's what's being approved.
Yes.
Thank you for your yes vote. Trustee Miller?
No.
And Madam President, this carries 4-1. Thank you all. Next is McQueen Equipment.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Next is McQueen Equipment LLC in the amount of $1,085,000 for the fire department. It's been properly motioned by trustee Abraham, seconded by trustee Senior. Madam President?
Thank you, Chief Brian. You want to tell us about this fire engine?
Good evening, Mayor, elected officials, residents,
Good
and
evening.
guests. So, NFPA 1901, which is the national standard for Fire Perfection Association, states that fire apparatus, their first 15 years, they're in the primary status. Our current rescue pumper is 11 years old. It states that the secondary vehicle has a life expectancy of 15 to 25 years, and that vehicle currently is 23 years old. So depending on cost and repairs, it can cause us to have to do what I'm doing right now, which is the normal build time for a new rescue pumper is 36 months. I was able to secure a brand-new engine that's currently on the assembly line, which can be delivered within the next 6 months instead of 36 months. And that's just another way to show that God has his eye on Broadview, like the mayor
Amen.
speaks about in every department head meeting. We have a need for a new rescue pumper, and instead of 36 months, it can be here in 6 months. And I would entertain any questions.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments? No questions. Trustee Senior? No questions. Trustee Malave?
No question.
Trustee Armour?
One question for you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is coming out of your fiscal year 24-25 budget.
It's allocated in the FY '25 budget.
Okay. Same thing. We're saying the same thing. That's a big, beautiful fire apparatus.
Yes, will be, ma'am, yes.
Big money, too.
It's a going rate, ma'am.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
No question.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Malave?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby is absent. Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Abstain.
Yeah, Madam President, this carries 4-0 with one abstention. Thank you all. Next, Stryker Sales LLC in the amount of $24,205.90, again for the fire department. Need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by trustee Abraham, seconded by trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you. So before Chief Brian tell us about this equipment, I will say this. We had allocated ARPA funds for this, and we had applied for a grant for it as well because we didn't know if we was going to get awarded a grant. Well, just last week, we got awarded the grant, so we know, so the ARPA funds for this purchase actually going back to the ARPA funds account. So Chief Brian, you want to tell us about this PO?
Yes, so this device is a CPR automated device. It provides effective and consistent CPR compared to manual CPR, which is physically demanding. We currently have 2, but we're going to put one on our fire engine, which is an ALS response engine, actually, status. This is just another way to show that God has his eye on Broadview, and we had allocated the funds, and now it's going to be 100% funded by the Illinois State Fire Marshal.
Amen. Thank you. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
I just have a comment. Chief, thank you. I truly appreciate this because you guys are in the business of saving lives, and I appreciate the 2 pieces of equipment that you guys are going to provide here in Broadview, and that's going to be great for the employees as well, to have newer, updated equipment. So, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Senior?
Thank you.
Trustee Malave?
Just a comment. I think it's the second page, the start date and the contract end date are incorrect.
Are you talking about the quote?
Kind of, I'm sorry, I lost my Wi-Fi here, so I'm trying to reopen my document.
So-
I thought it was the quote, but it just said, contract start date was April 2023, and the end was 2024.
Yeah, so we'll have the equipment before August 17th, 2024.
2024?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Trustee Armour?
Thank you.
Are we actually paying this in one lump sum, or how is?
Yes, ma'am. The actual price is 24,000 and
Oh, no, I got this one confused with the fire apparatus. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I can
Just-
answer that question. So normally, when we purchase a new apparatus, it takes 24 to 36 months to build. So if you remember from, we purchased the ambulance, there was, the money isn't due until 2026, I believe, it will actually be
okay.
paid. But for this, it's a brand-new apparatus, but since it's already on the production line, we'll pay on it upon delivery, which would be within 6 months.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. And, I mean, they came and gave us a demonstration and everything, so we've been working on this one for a while, and it is a great piece of equipment, so thank you so much. That's all I got.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
Yeah, I was gonna ask if this, I know you mentioned the third piece, so we already got the two pieces from when they came and did the presentation. This is the same?
I don't know.
You talking about the CPR device?
Well, he wasn't here, so I don't know who would know
I
then.
was here.
Well, if you're
I
referring to
know
the CPR automated device, then yes.
Okay.
Same thing, yes.
Okay, so I'll go back and look just to do a comparison on the price, because I don't remember if they were 40,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Miller. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chamalave,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby is absent, Trustee Armour,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Abstain.
and Madam President, this carries 4-0 with one abstention. Thank you all. Next is item 7, Village Officer Reports given at each second meeting of the month. Starting with our Building Department, Commissioner David Upshaw, and in his stead, I believe Mr. Hannah will be giving the report for this evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Good evening, trustees, and everyone in attendance. I'm Code Officer Aaron Hanna, and I will be highlighting a few things on behalf of Commissioner David Upshaw in his absence. The March 2024 building report is on file with the Mayor and Clerk's office. My first one was Housing Forward, but you guys have heard about Housing Forward, so I'm not going to belabor you on that. I will say their ribbon cutting is Thursday, April 25th from 10:30 to 12:30. You may or may not know, but we have a Chick-fil-A coming to Broadview. Chick-fil-A will be housed at 3300 Village Square in the mall over there. That project has begun. Also, Iron Workers, Local 63, their training facility is near completion. More information will follow. And last but not least, Vanny Foods and their addition, that project is currently on the way. That concludes my report. I will entertain any questions at this time.
Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
Yes, the Vandy Food's nice. It's coming along great.
Yeah.
It's the way it goes so fast, so thank you for taking care of that. Thank you guys for being aware when I caught that building.
No problem at all.
Take care of that, so thank you guys for handling everything.
Of course.
Thank you. Trustee Senior? Trustee Armour, or Trustee Chamalave, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Trustee Armour?
Oh, I didn't have a question for Mr. Aaron. I had a question for Mr. Upshaw, and I'll just follow up in an email.
Okay.
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem
you.
at all.
Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hannah.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Next item is the Finance Department, Finance Director Tom Hood.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Madam
evening.
Mayor, trustees. The finance report is on file with the clerk's office and the mayor's office. I would like to, though, point out a few things. Page number 3 had a banner collection of everything in March. We are now at 96% of our budgeted revenues have been collected. Comparing that to page 13, which shows you that we're running at about 86% of our budgeted expenditures. So right now, we're looking very good for the year. with an excess of revenues over expenditures of $3.5 million. But as I always like to say, I want to remind you guys that there are budgeted transfers. So 1.2 of that will be used up in transfers. But even after the 1.2, we're looking at, close to $2 million for a surplus this year. Thus, why we'll have money to buy the fire truck next year, because we've got the money now, it's going in the bank. We might not spend it this year, but we'll spend it next year. And with that being said, everyone should have received a copy of the proposed budget by now. I saw some of you on Wednesday at the Finance Committee meeting. If you could not come, it is online. You can view it. And I encourage you all to please take a look at it now so that you can come to me with any questions that you may have. Are there any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Hood. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions?
Other than a comment, thank you for hosting and having that meeting with Trustee Shelby and myself, for everybody. So it was very well done, very well laid out. So thank you for that information.
Thank you, Trustee Senior.
My questions was answered at the finance meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Chalmalave.
No question.
Thank you, Trustee Armour.
I do. I need a hard copy of that. Do you have what you had at the meeting? Can I get one of those from you?
I'll get that for you, trustee, no problem.
Can I get it tonight?
Yes, you can.
I was talking to Tom.
Yeah,
But
they're available. Yeah, they're available to the public. There's copies at the front window, but we can get you one as you go up.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Miller.
No questions.
Thank you, Director Hood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the Fire Department, Fire Chief Derek Bryant.
Check that off already.
Once again, hello.
Hello.
I'd like to, there's a report on file in the mayor's office and the clerk's office as well. I'd like to highlight a few points. For March of 2024, we responded to 248 emergency incidents, which is actually 17% down from March of 2023. For our hospital contracts, our EMS deposited was 33,154, and for our fire contracts, it was 40,792. I also like to add, we will be having a Safety Saturday coming up on May 18th at 9 a.m. You can call the office at 708-343-6124 and make a reservation. We have 30 slots available, and we'll be teaching CPR. I'll entertain any questions.
Thank you, Trustee Abraham.
No, none.
Trustee Senior. Trustee Chalmalave.
No question.
Trustee Armour.
What was the total for the EMS, for the bills?
33,154.
Because I got something different.
You do?
I was just making, I got $43,204 exactly. But I was just totaling that up again to make sure that my number was, which I did before, but. So I got $43,204 exactly.
I don't have a calculator on hand, ma'am, so
Yeah, I'm trying to,
I can't.
I'm doing it again right now. Did anybody get anything different?
Get it.
Does it change what you're gonna vote?
That's for EMS. I missed the number.
45,104 is what I have.
Right, because I missed the 1,900. Yeah, 45,104, that's what I got.
Again, it could be a typo.
Okay, well, the record should reflect the correct number.
It's in his report, it was a typo. He can update the report and recirculate it to the clerk's office. Thank you, Chief.
Well,
Trustee Miller,
that's what
you-
I wanted to hear, or a response or something, because the correct information
Well, it's
should
in
go
the-
in our records,
Well,
right?
it's in a report. So the report, we don't vote on this. This is a report to update the
I
trustees.
know, but I just want to make sure that our records are correct.
I understand, and I just told you that he will update the report and the clerk will recirculate it with the correct number, trustee.
Perfect.
Thank you, Trustee Miller.
No questions.
Thank you, Chief Bryant.
Thank you, Chief. Next is the Police Department. Police Chief Thomas Mills.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, residents, everyone in attendance. March 2024 monthly report is on file with the clerk and the mayor's office. Unfortunately, I was not able to include the monthly report from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office as they just sent it today. We have no control when they send it. That shows what, what our prosecution rates in case that we called in, but I will include in next month reports. During the month of March 2024, we responded to 1,173 calls as a comparison to 1,184 in February, very less than 1% decrease. As a whole, the Communication Center received 3,090 calls for Broadview and Maywood compared to 2,908 for a 6.25% increase. Of course, the weather's starting to change. We're starting to pick up more calls, but we are prepared. We have a plan in effect for our summer months as we move closer with patrols. Our 3 recruits that will be graduating from the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy on April 26th and starting their FTO program. Thank you all. This past Saturday, we interviewed 4 out of 5 candidates under our lateral program, and we are in the process of reviewing those and hopefully make a conditional offer employment to hopefully 2 or 3 out of the 5. So with the lateral program, the recruits will go through approximately 14 to 16 weeks of training before they can work alone. With our laterals, because they're already certified police officers, normally we go 3 to 4 weeks. But it really depends on the training. We did go into a new FTO program called COPS FTO, so it's all automated. It will give our FTOs the ability to grade the recruits on all of their training requirements while in the vehicles, versus in the past they would just try their best to take notes, and at the end of the tour they were allotted X amount of time to complete it, but of course you're trying to take notes while responding to various calls here within the village, so that should give us a better outcome and how to correct deficiencies as we see it before waiting to the end of the training. Other than that, we did our Occupant Protection Illinois Department of Transportation grant. That's just a safety grant. There has no real requirements or quotas for citations or anything, but it gives us an opportunity to stop cars, educate our violators, give them warnings as to the importance of stop signs, distracted driving. But everyone thinks this grant comes with numbers, and it does not. The purpose of this grant is to educate the public in our community, which we're doing. And we're continuing our online training for all of the Illinois laws. And just to bring everyone, we are starting conversation to prepare for the Democratic National Convention, which will come to Chicago August 19th through the 22nd. We're having conversations with the Illinois State Police, who's kind of taking a lead for the suburban law enforcement agencies for assistance. More or less will be traffic, maybe if things go bad in Chicago, possibly, assisting on the expressways or stopping entrances and exits. But we're just starting those calls now. They'll be every 2 weeks for about the next 2 months, and then it'll go deeper after that. So that's all I have for the police department. Any questions?
Thank you, Chief Mills. Trustee Abraham?
No, I just want to thank your department. Obviously, with the warmer weather, more people are out walking around, and it's great to see you guys are driving around the neighborhoods and residents of Macon. It was good to see you guys come too. So thank team and what you guys are doing to patrol.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, trustee senior.
You guys are doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Malave.
No question.
Thank you, trustee Armour.
Well, you guys are really putting that new software you recently got to use. I noticed the difference in your report. It's got great detail in it. The only thing that I couldn't see on it, though, was those nice graphs. You know, the color code is perfect. It's right on point, but the graph itself is rather small, and I couldn't really,
Yes.
you know, relate the two columns. But other than that, it's a great report. Thank you for everything that you do, Chief,
Thank you.
here
Thank you,
in
ma'am.
our hometown.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
trustee Armour. Trustee Miller.
No questions.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chief. Next, we'll have the Public Works Department Director, Matt Ames.
Good evening once again, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Deep breathing. So,
Exactly.
that being said, I do believe that you all should have a copy of this month's monthly report on file with the clerk's office and also the mayor's office. And what I'd like to do briefly is just highlight a few things that will be taking place in the upcoming weeks. A water tower will be taken offline so that we can do maintenance. As a matter of fact, I think it was 3 years ago, we had the water tower refurbished, and this is part of the contract agreement so that they would come in on a timely basis, and they would inspect the inside, remove any excess debris, biofilms, those type of things, sanitize it, and then we'll put it back online. And we're expecting that to be a 2-day event, and we have contacted our superintendent over at the Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency just in preparation. What we don't want to do this year, Tom, is lose all of that accounted for water by draining it. So we're going to attempt to put that water back in the distribution system. Our lead service line inventory has been completed, and it has been turned in. So thank you all that did participate and allow Public Works into your home. Hopefully, we didn't disturb you too much, and for some of you all, I think we were able to educate at least the majority of homeowners here in Broadview as to what type of service line that they did have. And the second part of that is now that we've got that complete, we have to frame our lead service line replacement plan. So I think we've got about 3,000 lines that we've identified as unknown lead service lines. So we have got to come up with a plan of action beginning 2027. And Broadview, because of the size of its distribution and the number of properties that we service, we have 17 years to do that. I know that we've had preliminary discussions with our finance department and also the mayor's office and pretty much just the department heads and what that's going to look like. We know that in order to achieve this today's number, I think it's $40 million, and that's today. And obviously, over the next 17 years, that number is probably going to go up for obvious reasons. But my suggestion, or should I say, one of the things that I do know it's going to have to happen is that we're going to have to increase water rates to achieve this. So the good news is about a year and a half ago, we had Elevate come in and provide a water affordability analysis for the Village of Broadview, and I thought that they did a great job. So that analysis, I believe it's available, maybe online, but if you haven't had an opportunity, please get it, take a look at it, read it so you can understand exactly the impact of the water that's being delivered to you and what we need to do to maintain a safe and healthy water distribution system. beginning May 1st, you probably have seen the directional board or the message board out at 18th Avenue and Roosevelt Road headed westbound. And there is one coming eastbound that's in Westchester. But IDOT is announcing that that bridge at west of 25th Avenue will be reconstructed in the same manner that the bridge was reconstructed on Cermak Road. We don't anticipate some of the problems that we encountered on Cermak Road because we don't have the same type of infrastructure that would be compromised or potentially compromised if in fact they had not redesigned the wing wall and some other things that was necessary. And I'm happy to report that we heard from Cook County as recent as Thursday about Broadview being awarded 2 locations for the CFI, charging and fueling infrastructure. So we're happy about that. And they're probably going to be located on Roosevelt Road and, the municipal parking lots. And, yeah, that's that. So.
Thank you, Director Ames. As you talked about the water affordability plan, I also would let the community know, because we're so transparent in conversations that we have around significant issues that impact our community, that town hall meeting is also available online, as well as the conversation that took place as it relates to water affordability. So the reported document is on our website as well. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
I just want to thank your team for taking care of maintaining the community, so it's nice to see that. So.
Thank you.
Trustee Senior?
Amazing?
Amazing.
Amazing. We'll take that.
Trustee Child Malave?
No comment.
Thank you. Trustee Armour?
Well, I have to say, you are doing an amazing job, although we always have questions, and so, that's how I know that you know what you're doing, and I do have a lot of confidence in you because you've been here in the village for a long time, and so you know what's happening. And we were right on
Some
the same,
folks would say too long, trustee, but go ahead.
and so we were right on the same page tonight, because I definitely was going to ask you about the update to the lead service line. Did I hear you say that we got $40 million for Broadview to replace those lines?
Oh, no, no. What you heard, trustee, was according to our calculations and what we estimate each line, service line is going to cost, and the number of service lines that we have to replace, that number is going to be about $40 million, and that's in today's figures. So as we progress, over the next 15, 17 years, that number will probably increase to maybe closer to 45 million. Tom would probably know better than I, just if he was to do some factors, cost of living increases, and of course, nobody can predict material increases and things like COVID, that
Okay.
would potentially affect that cost as well.
Okay, so I understood what you said, right? And so the water tower that we have to have service, how many gallons of water does that hold? And if we just pour it out and don't put it back in the reservoir, will that have an impact? Well, that's a different question, right? So is that gonna impact possibly going forward water rates? Because you talked about a water rate increase. And if we just lose that water, that's gonna cost money once we use it, right? The water is up there, right? We're not being charged for it yet, but if we use it and if we don't preserve it, once we use it, we have to pay for it. Am I understanding that correctly?
If I can, trustee, let me try and make sense of our distribution system. So when we purchase water from 10th Avenue, okay, it's pumped through the arterial mains, mainly down Roosevelt Road, to the water tower. We've already paid for it. In other words, there's a meter. at the pump station that lets us know how much water is being pumped to that 1.5 million gallon reservoir. Once it's up in the reservoir, depending on the usage, the reservoir starts getting lower and lower, okay? And right now, what we're reporting about the maintenance is that that reservoir is going to have to be emptied. Right. And the plan of action right now is to make sure that the superintendent that pumps that water through the distribution system to us is aware ahead of time. That way, he doesn't fill it. You know, he doesn't continually fill it. On a daily basis, he does it depending on our water consumption. On average, we use about 1.6 million gallons of water daily. So that's with the residents, that's with the industrial, that's with the commercial, that's with, again, unaccounted for water flow, which might be a water main break, it might be a leaky service, you know, all of those things. Okay. So, but yeah, we intend to make sure, and as much as possible, that the water that we've already paid for, when we drain that tank, is put back into the distribution system and not lost.
Okay, but if we lose it, will it impact these water rates, this increase that you spoke about?
No, not at all. It's two separate things that we're talking about, right?
Okay, and we need to put a plan together for the lead water lines. We have to get a plan ready. Did I hear you say it's going to take 17 years? We have 17 years to do that, or how soon do we need to get the plan done?
Well, the plan actually needs to be reported before April the 15th every year up until 2027. And that's, again, those are what they call preliminaries, what we're thinking. And of course, the biggest driver for any of this is the finances. So I know that they've got a state revolving fund, you know, which is a relatively low interest loan that they provide. And depending on the community, we're, I think, a disadvantaged community, so our principal forgiveness, we've got principal forgiveness that would probably be extended to us. But this is a financial conversation and an ongoing thing that, you know, like you said, we're going to have to nail down most certainly with our finance team and the corporate authorities.
So how long is it going to, what's the timeline for getting the plan ready? Our next step, putting the plan together is our next step, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so what's your target date for having that done so that we can get our submission in?
I don't think we've come up with a target date right now. Again, we've just got through the fiscal year budget, and this is a priority. So I'd imagine here within the next couple months, we should have something to report to the board, at least the direction that we intend to go.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Trustee Armour. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you, Director Ames.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Next is the Administrative Department Village Administrator, Letisa Jones.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees, and all those in attendance. My report as well is on file with the Mayor's office and also the Clerk's office. Just a couple of things just to highlight this week. Stop over at the police department, pick up the red phone, and say thank you to our telecommunicators. This is Telecommunicators Week. Want to make that known. So thank you all telecommunicators. Also, this week is open enrollment for all employees when it comes to our full-time employees. So we have open enrollment for our healthcare. It started from the 15th through the 19th. So we're encouraging all employees to come out just to meet the experts. We're having Blue Cross Blue Shield, Transamerica, Voya. So anybody of the employees can come out in order just to get in touch with the experts. Next, we have our upgrade with our software for our accounting and also for our water department. It's called LOSIS version 8. So all of the clerks are getting cross-trained on it. So from every department, from the water department to public works, to police, to building department, also for the fire department. And we're doing our training on Wednesdays from 9 until 2 p.m. Lastly, we're updating our customer service when it comes to the Village of Broadview. We know that it's important for us to be firsthand acknowledged of any department. You can call any department and we have the answers. So we're taking a step further and we're upgrading our skills when it comes to customer service. That training will be in the month of May. Lastly, of course, I want to make it known that cybersecurity is very important with all of our employees in the Village of Broadview. That training will be in the month of June. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Administrator Jones. Trustee Abraham?
No questions, thank you.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Chalmalave?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Armour?
No questions.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you, Administrator.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jones, next is item 8, old business. We have none. Bringing us to item 9, new business. First, I'd like to say Clerk Karen Yarbrough, the late Clerk Karen Yarbrough, has served the Village of Broadview and the surrounding community for a number of years. First, as our state representative many years ago. Then she was elected to the Recorder of Deeds, and most recently served as the Cook County Clerk. And during her tenure, I have not known her to say no to Broadview with her unwavering support. I'm going to give a quick example, then we're going to go into this resolution. Just last year, the Mayor Thompson and I spoke about the importance of bringing in our young people to the election process and educating them, and reached out to Clerk Karen Yarbrough as the Cook County suburban election official and asked for her blessing to have a couple of classrooms from one of our local grammar schools here at Village Hall during the election time. And Clerk Yarbrough, without hesitating, says, yes, Clerk McGreer, I support you guys 100%. Just let me know what time I need to be there. So that being said, we arranged with Lindop District 92 to have 2 classrooms during 2 different times during the day to come and view the election process. And keep in mind, these students are our future voters. They're our future judges, election judges, and possibly our future elected officials. So these are the people that are going to be guiding us and leading our community when we are old and retired. That being said, I'd like to read item A, a resolution honoring the legacy of Clerk Karen A. Yarbrough. Whereas Karen A. Yarbrough, Clerk of Cook County, Illinois, dedicated her life to public service, tirelessly advocating for reform, innovation, and equality within her community. And whereas Clerk Yarbrough brought a wealth of governmental experience and community advocacy to her role, serving as a beacon of integrity and leadership. And whereas her tenure as clerk was marked by pioneering initiatives aimed at modernizing the election processes, enhancing voter access, and ensuring the integrity of security of elections within Cook County. And whereas Clerk Yarbrough's efforts led to groundbreaking advancements in election technology, including the introduction of new voting equipment and systems, as well as significant expansions in early voting and mail-in ballot processing. And whereas she championed initiatives to increase language accessibility on the ballot and engage younger generations in the electoral process through innovative educational partnerships. And whereas Clerk Yarbrough's commitment to inclusivity extended to advocating for the voting rights of incarcerated individuals, ensuring that every citizen's voice could be heard. And whereas she demonstrated unwavering dedication to the well-being of Cook County residents by implementing programs to combat property fraud, support veterans, and address issues of domestic violence and housing inequality. And whereas Clerk Karen Yarbrough's compassion and generosity were evident in her active involvement in community organizations and charitable endeavors, reflecting her commitment to service above self. And whereas her legacy as the first female and African-American clerk of Cook County will continue to inspire future generations to strive for excellence and equity in public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, The undersigned express our deepest condolences on the passing of Karen A. Yarbrough and extend our heartfelt sympathies to her family, friends, colleagues, and the residents of Cook County. And be it further resolved, the residents of Broadview honor the memory of Clerk Karen Yarbrough by continuing her work to uphold democracy, promote justice, and serve the people of Cook County with dedication, integrity, and compassion. This is signed Mayor Katrina R. Thompson, Village of Broadview.
Thank you, Clerk McGreer. Trustee Abraham, is there anything you would like to add?
Just that she was definitely a force. She would definitely be missed throughout the community and through the state of Illinois. She definitely had integrity, but her commitment and her involvement was unbelievable, her passion. So hopefully all of us can take something from that to continue that. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Trustee Senior. Thank you, Trustee Chalmalave.
With my condolences to the family.
Thank you, Trustee Armour.
The same. My sincere condolences to Clerk Karen Yarbrough's family.
Thank you, Trustee Miller.
No questions.
Thank you. So I will add to that because I had a personal relationship with, she liked us to call her Karen. I had a personal relationship with Karen. And it goes back as far as when I first was the executive director at the Broadview Park District. And no one from the Village of Broadview had been to Springfield, and that's like our park district, school district, library district, or the municipal side. And so they had Park Day at the Capitol when she was a state rep. And I didn't know what to ask for, because I didn't know. I just didn't know what I didn't know. And so when I met with her, we was talking about different things that was at the park district that we wanted to enhance, like our locker rooms where the swimming pools were, the kitchens and the bathrooms were just in very poor shape. And so she said, what is it that I can help you with? And I said, I don't know, I just know we need some money to fix some things. And the first thing she said was, is $200,000 enough? And that's how we was able to upgrade the kitchens at Schroeder and at Beverly and fix the bathrooms at Schroeder Park. She gave us a start in Broadview, and she championed behind women, literally getting more female women elected to positions. And so I had a high level of respect for her and the work that she did every day, and she didn't leave out anybody. If you asked for her help, she was there to help you and support you. And so she is someone that I have near and dear to my heart. She will be missed because a lot of these conversations is how you navigate through the politics and how you stay forward and focused. And so in her memory, I'm just going to continue to stay focused, and her favorite line is, do the work. Do the work. If you do the work, you can have a lot of great success. So I will honor her by doing the work. And as our Speaker of the House always say, winners do the work. So thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Madam President, for your words. Next, we'll have item B, a proclamation commending Housing Forward's impact on the Village of Broadview.
So we don't need a motion, it's just the proclamation. So this is a proclamation honoring the work that Housing Forward has done in the community. And I will say, you know, if you've never faced homelessness, you have no clue of what this work is really about. This is a 16-unit apartment complex that's going to give families hope. And in the Village of Broadview is creating a legacy for these families, those first families that move into the community. They will become our friends, our neighbors, and we're going to embrace them and love on them with love and kindness, regardless of how we feel about one another. It's all about the people first. And so as we move forward with Housing Forward and what the work that they're doing, I want to commend Linda, because she's been the executive director, I think, over 25 years, a long time. And so, and for her to see this come to a fruition where this is a truly owned facility that Housing Forward has. And so I feel honored and blessed that we were able to support this initiative with the help of Leader Lyford and Speaker Welch. So thank you, Linda, for choosing Broadview to house 16 new residents to come to the Village of Broadview. So the resolution read, whereas Housing for It was established in 1992 by a coalition of congregations and community members with the mission of providing emergency shelter services for individuals experiencing homelessness. And whereas Housing for It now extends its services to the Village of Broadview along with 25 other communities in the West Suburban Cook County, offering comprehensive support from the onset of a housing crisis to its resolution, including prevention of homelessness whenever feasible, responsible to housing emergencies and stabilizations of residents facing homelessness through permanent housing solutions. And whereas the purpose of this proclamation is to announce the inauguration of Housing for It's newest initiative, the Broadview Legacy Apartments, a permanent supportive housing development situated at 1020 Roosevelt Road, featuring 16 apartments specifically designed for individuals and families transition out of homelessness, with dedicated units for veterans, transition-age youth, and families, along with communal spaces and Housing for It office facilities. And whereas permanent supportive housing provides stability and independence for individuals with a history of homelessness, long-term physical or mental disabilities, a series of health conditions by combining affordable permanent housing with flexible volunteer support service aimed at assisting with housing retention. And whereas Housing for It has been delivering permanent supportive housing services since 2006, with 330 individuals supported in the program last year across West Suburban Cook County, and is collaborating with partners such as Youth Outreach Services, Ascension, and West Cook Coalition to provide additional support services to residents, fostering independent living, tenancy skills, and connections to community-based resources for healthcare, treatment, and employment. And whereas the Village of Broadview acknowledges this ongoing challenge of homelessness within its community and recognize that the mission of Housing for It aligns closely with us, our own efforts to address this pressing issue. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this day, the Village of Broadview extends its sincere appreciation to Housing for It for their invaluable service and contributions to the community. Be it further resolved that the Village of Broadview urges all citizens to acknowledge the presence of homeless individuals and families within our community and offer their support to fellow citizens in need, and as well as to the public and private nonprofit agencies dedicated to serving them. Proclaim this 15th date of April 2024, signed Mayor Katrina Thompson. So, Linda, we have the proclamations if you want to come get it. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
Thank you for what you're doing and welcome to our community.
Trustee Senior? Trustee Senior?
Thank you so much.
Trustee Child Malave?
Just thank you for being in Broadview and, truly believe in the mission that Housing Forward has. I've worked with public housing myself, grew up in public housing myself, and so, organizations like this are so important, and then you end up with people like me sitting next to the mayor of Broadview. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Trustee Armour?
Oh, this is amazing. And we have really yet to see the results of our work. And you're right, it takes a lot of work. You've endured a lot, and you've been patient with the world. Well, now you have a system and a clear plan to actually take the world, because this is so needed. Housing is crucial. Housing is what brings respect to
Bless
people. You're giving people, letting them know that they're a human being, and, housing is so important, It's just amazing. So I'm looking forward to, I go to church here in Broadview as well, and we got to engage the churches in this, so working alongside you with this project. This is a huge project. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Trustee Armour. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you all. Next is item C, a proclamation supporting the United States Surgeon General's call to action to address loneliness and isolation through social connection. Madam President.
Thank you. So, Move with the Mayor, we started this initiative last year where we walk, bike, have small initiatives to keep the community active. Well, May is Mental Health Month. And because we have a mental health committee within the Village of Broadview and we put support around mental health every single day that we show up for work, it just was a proclamation that we needed to put together to promote loneliness and isolation through social connection. So when we walking or biking together, we create that space for people to participate. And I see one of the walkers here tonight, Keisha, that participates in the Move with the Mayor initiative by walking with us and gardening. So whereas loneliness and social isolation are significant health concerns in the United States, and whereas current research has found that 1/3 of American adults report feeling consistently lonely or isolated, with even higher rates of certain populations such as older adults, young adults, and the LGBTQ+ community and veterans. And whereas these feelings of loneliness and isolation can increase the risk of chronic diseases, mental health disorders, and mortality. And whereas over the past few decades, social and technology changes such as the rise of social media and the increased work demands have impacted our ability to form meaningful connections with others. And whereas the United States Surgeon General has issued a call to action to address loneliness and isolation through social connection, recognizing the critical role that social support plays in promoting overall health and well-being. And whereas the National Forum for Heart Disease and Stroke Prevention recognizes the critical impact of loneliness and isolation on the health and well-being of our communities. And whereas Move with the Mayor Spring Mental Health and Physical Activity Challenge is a powerful initiative to promote physical activity while fostering social connections amongst our residents, directly addressing the Surgeon General's call to action. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Village of Broadview officially supports the Surgeon General's call to actions to address loneliness and isolation through social connection, and be it further reserved that the Village of Broadview encourages all residents to actively participate in the Move with the Mayor Spring Challenge, promoting physical activity, forcing meaningful social connections to strengthen our collective health and resilience. This proclamation is hereby adopted and proclaimed on this 15th day of April 2024. So we will be launching out the information probably at the end of this week on what activities we will be doing in the month of May to promote our Spring Mental Health and Physical Activity Challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Next is item D, a resolution authorizing and approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Broadview and the County of Cook regarding the village's participation in Build Up Cook program for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve. Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Abraham, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President, open for discussion.
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about Build Up Cook?
The Build Up Cook grant.
Yes.
Mayor, if memory serves me correctly, is a grant that Cook County wants to extend to the Village of Broadview for the renovations, for the fire department, and also the replacement of 10 of our faulty water main valves. This IGA has to be approved so that it can go back before Cook County Board for approval, and we move forward in obtaining the funds.
Thank you. So this grant is $650,000 to help us get some work done as some improvements that we need in the Village of Broadview. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments?
No, none.
Trustee Senior? Trustee Child-Malave?
No question.
Trustee Armour?
Okay, so the $650,000 is being divided between the firehouse building improvements for $500,000, and then for water main lines and valve replacements for the village, the
Distribution system, water distribution system, that's correct.
Okay. Okay. So, and who's the project manager for this? That will oversee the projects?
Builder Cook has their own team of in-house specialists.
Say that again?
Cook County has their own team of in-house specialists
For both?
for
projects?
for both projects. That's correct.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee Armour. Trustee Miller?
No questions.
Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby is absent. Trustee Armour,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
and Madam President, this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next is item E, a resolution awarding the bid to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, CSR Roofing Contractors, Inc., for certain roofing work related to the certain repairs and replacements at the Village Fire Department building for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Abraham and seconded by Trustee Senior, Madam President.
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about this one?
Yeah, this CSR Roofing Contractors is a local roofing company here in the Village of Broadview. They were one of several RFQ respondents for the fire department roof complete tear-off and re-roofing. This is part of the DECO grant that we've received from Cook County as well. So I believe the amount of the grant was $450,000, Tom. And yeah, so we should be able to have the entire fire department roof replaced, brand new, including the skylights. Yeah, with this work.
Thank you. So the total cost for the roof replacement for the firehouse is $426,839, but we received a grant for $450,000 for this particular roof. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions or comments? Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave? Trustee Armour?
No question.
Trustee Miller?
So you mentioned there were several other bidders. What's the variance between them being the lowest to the next bidder and so on?
I can provide that information to you at a later time, Trustee Miller. But yeah, this was an RFQ that was put out, request for qualifications, not a sealed bid process that we typically follow with our roads, on our streets. So, but the RFQ responses, we do have a list of those. As a matter of fact, we've got to turn them in to Cook County because of the grant that's being extended to us and the requirements, which is minority participation. They want to know about our BEP utilization plans, so our apprenticeship participation with this particular grant application and awarding. So CSR was a company through the RFQ process. It was able to help us meet that 28% minority participation and the 10% apprenticeship requirement that's put forth with this grant.
Okay, when you get a chance, can you share the top three?
Absolutely.
Lowest three. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham,
Yes.
Trustee Chalmalave,
Yes.
Trustee Senior,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby is absent. Trustee Armour,
Yes.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
and Madam President, this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next, item F, a resolution awarding an agreement for the 2023 PY CDBG Roadway Improvements Project to M&J Asphalt Paving Company after competitive bidding for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Abraham, seconded by Trustee Senior. Madam President.
Thank you. Director Ames, you want to tell us about this one?
Yeah, this is for 20th, 21st, and 22nd Avenue. Obviously, the sealed bid, was a sealed bid that was open here in the Village of Chambers, and M&J Asphalt Paving was the lowest responsible bidder. I do believe that you all should have the tally sheet for all of the respondents and their bid pricing.
What streets is this for, Director Ames?
This is going to be the 2100 block of 20th Avenue, the 2100 block of 21st Avenue, and the 2100 block of 22nd. And the work will extend to Roosevelt Road, so it will go past the east-west alley south to Roosevelt Road to pick up the diagonal parking and the necessary curb and gutter improvements.
Okay, so the engineer estimated cost for this project was $470,733. The bid came in about $20,000 more than the $470,000. MJM Asphalt Paving was $491,885.80. Trustee Abraham, you have any questions?
No, none.
Trustee Senior?
No questions.
Trustee Chalmalave?
Yes.
Trustee Armour?
Okay, I do have a couple of questions. So what portion the village is going to, so the total cost of the project is $491,885.80, right? And we got a grant, a CDBG grant. How much is that?
200,000.
200,000. Okay, that wasn't clear. Now, I saw something in the detail that talked about the reason why the bids were so high was that they said they used the term typical depth. So when they go down in this area, on 23, 22, and 21, the streets, it's a deeper depth that they have to go down in the ground, and that's why the bids are so high here?
No, so an engineer's estimate is just that, trustee. It's an estimate. Depending on when that estimate was put together, a lot can happen in 60 days, 6 months prior to getting the bid specs out and having those respondents actually provide a bid. For instance, asphalt went up, okay, and at the time that the estimates went out, the engineer's estimate based off of the numbers that are before them currently. And again, this is typical. Sometimes we've been very, very fortunate. I know we've had some bids come in under the engineer's estimates, but this particular project, the estimates or the bids came in above the engineer's estimates.
Yeah, the engineer's estimate is a $20,000 difference there. It's a variance there. So I didn't know the reason why it is, but in the document, it actually says, and I don't have a page number so that people can follow me, but it says M&J Asphalt Paving Company has a low bid that is approximately $20,000 more than our engineering estimate. And they said something about the existing combination sewer is approximately 15 feet deep in the area of town on streets 20, 21, and 22. And that was the reason that the winning bidder, that was the, because they have to go down a little further, I guess.
No.
I don't know.
No.
So I'm asking.
So, right, so what's been reported to you is basically each of those streets, each of those roadways has an 18-inch diameter storm sanitary sewer that runs underneath.
Okay.
And the depth of that is 15 feet from surface. So if you're standing on the street, 15 feet below you is going to be a sewer that's 18 inches in diameter, but 15 feet, below the surface that you're standing on.
Oh.
So that's basically to identify. And what we typically do is we televise. We'll run a camera before we do any street resurfacing to make sure that if there's any underground issues that need to be addressed, that they are addressed before the street is resurfaced. So, okay. But yeah, that has.
So it's not like they have to go like 18 feet down. It's just 15 feet, and at 15 feet, they're watching out for this reservoir. You said
for the sewer.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Okay. Yeah, they don't want to break that because then it'll be smelling everywhere.
Well, that would be the least of our concerns, but yeah.
Well, that would be another concern for some people. Thank you, sir.
So I just want to bring up some factors just for the number purposes. So we had 6 contractors submit a proposal for the RFP. M&J Asphalt Paving came in at $491,885.80. The second one was Chicago Land Paving Contractors, which was $550,000, which is a $58,114.20 difference. The next highest one was J. Nardley Concrete. They came in at $597,653.30, which is a difference of $105,767.50. So what we're asking the board to approve is the lowest responsible bidder. Trustee Miller, you have any questions or comments?
No questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Miller.
No.
No questions. Okay, Mr. Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, we can, Madam President. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Chamalabi?
Yes.
Trustee Senior?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby is absent. Trustee Armour?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
And Madam President, this carries 5-0. Thank you all. Next is item 10, Village Clerk Report. I don't have a report this evening, Madam President. Moving us to item 11, Village President's Report. Mayor Katrina Thompson.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And I'll have about another 45 minutes to go through my president report because of the conversation tonight. So be patient with me. The Village of Broadview is moving forward, and it's all good things for the Village of Broadview. We received another federal grant in the amount of $476,487. We were one of 31 local governments across the United States to receive the Energy Future Grant. The funding will allow us to plan activities with our C4 partners, the Village of Bellwood, the Village of Maywood, and the Village of Westchester, and the City of Berwyn. This will strengthen our community resilient transportation and building electrification, clean energy, microgrid deployment, solar development for a robust local engagement for an equitable energy transition. This grant was 40 communities that we received it. We are one of 2 communities in the state of Illinois to receive this out of 40 communities in the United States. So this is a big deal. We swung the bat and we won. So you just heard a lot of conversation tonight, for a lot of different things. I just want to bring to the attention tonight, you heard us report out on a little bit over $1 million in grants tonight to do more work in the Village of Broadview. When they say do the work, we're doing the work. Sometimes we have scribblers errors in our reporting that can be fixed. We are humans, we make mistakes, and that's allowed in the Village of Broadview because we're not doing nothing we're not doing nothing that's not transparent. We're very honest and upfront in what we do every single day. This past week, I had an opportunity to visit By Elementary School in Oak Park to see the Zero Waste Program. If you recall, I want to bring to your attention, we got $300,000 for composting that's going to impact Broadview, Bellwood, and Maywood. We're starting with the local schools. And so we went with Lindop to see how they roll out this program. Well, I'm happy to announce that Lindop will be rolling out the Zero Waste Program on May 1st at Lindop School, and Roosevelt School will follow shortly after that. Bellwood School District will be rolling out their program, I believe, at the end of the week. And so when we say it's continuous work that we do, we have to support initiatives through these. We have these initiatives through federal grants that we receive for composting. So stay tuned for the launch. So we starting with the local schools, and then we'll go into the community to educate the community on composting, because we have to learn how to compost the right way, because we have a lot of rodents in town, and we want to make sure that they don't get out of control in our own community. So the next is from the schools to the community. And this is how we look at environmental sustainability. We've received almost $1 million just in environmental sustainability and the work that we're doing every single day. Last week, Trustee Shelby hosted the Finance Committee meeting. The topic was the complete overview of the 24-25 budget. That is on record for your review through our social media outlets, so you can review the conversation. If you have any questions, this is for our proposed budget. So the notices was properly submitted to the local newspaper. It's been posted, and we will have a proposed public hearing. We'll have a public hearing on April 25th at 6 p.m. And then after that, hopefully we can go right into approving the proposed budget to make our budget approved by the May 1 deadline date. So we will have a special board meeting. As Director Hood announced today, that right now, currently, we're going into a fiscal year with a $2 million surplus. So that's commendable to not only our finance department, but all of our department heads that's been fiscal responsible of making sure that we're diligent in how we report on the grants that we're receiving. We're diligent on how we're spending in our departments, and we actually pay for the things that we need. We don't have any debt. The only debt we have is in this building. Everything else we budget for. So good job and kudos to our department and the leadership. Any copies of the proposed budget that you would like to receive, that can be picked up in the clerk's office. So if anybody would like a hard copy of the proposed budget, you can get that in the clerk's office. But in this budget, I do want to say this. In our budget this year, we applied for a grant to get trees. We got notification today that we didn't receive the grant. So we did replacing how many trees, Director Ames? 70 trees. We're going to be replacing 70 trees in the budget coming up. And until we can get all of the trees replaced, we will be continuously in our budget until we can get that. We will have another opportunity to reapply for the funding, and so we intend to reapply for the funding and look at where our deficiencies were so that we can get the grant for the next go-round. So we will be investing into our village-owned properties, the lead service lines, and when we talk about the lead service lines, we don't have a written plan, but we have a plan that we had to do. So the first steps, and Director Ames didn't speak on this, but the first plan was to get inventory of all our lead service lines and how we navigate through that, because it's a heavy lift, $40 million of an unfunded mandate. So we don't have money to do this, but we have to strategically entertain this. So what we decided to do was to use the ARPA funds to replace the lead service lines, because lead impacts children under 6. And so we're going to be replacing the lead service lines at Lindop School, Roosevelt School, the Broadview Park District at Schroeder Park, and at Beverly Center, and all of our home-based child care centers that we have here in town. So that will be taking place when we get the rollout. But as we go through this, lead service line is not a new conversation that we've been having, as we've been having these conversations for a long time. And anybody on this board or the public can go to iml.org to get the information as it relates to the lead service lines. And so this week we will be talking to legislators on where the funding is going to be coming from. But when we talk about lobbying, I can't do it by myself. I can't do this work by myself. It takes all of us to lobby for the resources that we need in the Village of Broadview. Lindop had a survey that came out, and so this survey will impact, well, it's not an impact, it's just they just want to know where people are with this survey as it relates to shortages for teaching. And so if you got the survey, it's a unique code on the survey. Just take the survey. I took it yesterday, and it took me like 30 seconds to say yes or no. But they're trying to gauge on what direction they should go in as it relates to the teacher shortage. The Juneteenth celebration is coming along pretty well. We're excited about what's taking place. We will be visiting over at Lindop School. They have solicited the local kids in the community to do some artwork, to have an art exhibit. And so they will be voting on who will be the winner of this art exhibit. The winner of the art will be displayed on our T-shirts for Juneteenth, and it will be a part of our village sticker in the 25 season. I do want to say this, and thank you, Ms. Jones, for recognizing the telecommunicators. They work really hard. I mean, really hard. If you ever spend any time over there to hear some of the calls, you would be quite impressed. It's apparent that we're not perfect, and we all make mistakes. Humans make mistakes. And again, mistakes are allowed in the Village of Broadview. We can fix a mistake, but we can't fix corruption. And we have stood on being transparent, being upfront with the community, and we have no secrets. We don't hide anything. And so we will stay focused, we will stay diligent, and we will continue to move the village forward, even for those that don't read their packets or don't have any questions. The state statute, and Mr. Attorney, please correct me if I'm wrong. The state statute actually said the only thing that we have to do is post the agenda 48 hours. When we get our packets out delayed, it's not because we try to get them delayed or we can't get it to you in a timely manner, but we had a clerk that's been on vacation. He's had some health challenges. And so some things is gonna put us behind on getting things out to the trustees in a timely manner, like the warrant list. But those things come out, and they come out every Tuesday or Wednesday. Trustee Shelby, she does an amazing job making sure the information gets out. I don't know if she's sent it out to the trustees, but I know she comes up here on a regular basis to review the bills, and she asks any questions that may come, that she may have as it relates to the finance director. But our only obligation is to provide an agenda for a regular board meeting. And if you can't read your packet or you don't have time, we are ready and prepared to receive a text message, to have a conversation, because sometimes if you send an email, just like you living your best life, the department heads are off on the weekends, they have a life too. So we extend our cell phone numbers to get any questions that you may have to be prepared for the regular board meeting. I leave and I close with this. Real change isn't just a concept. It's a commitment to transformation that brings tangible and lasting differences to individuals, communities, and societies. It requires courage, persistence, and a collaborative effort to challenge the status quo, dismantle barriers, and create a more equitable and just world for all. Broadview, we are strong because of love and kindness. Wherever everyone is welcome to our community. Let's stay focused and let's continue to do the work, because one thing that's for sure and for certain, winners do the work. Thank you. I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
Is she still on there?
Is she on?
Yes.
Trustee Shelby is absent. Trustee Arnold?
Yes.
Trustee Miller?
Yes.
Madam President, this meeting is hereby adjourned. This will be 4-0.